Okay, thank you all for coming. My name is Gregorio Robles. I'm from the Universidad Rey Juan Carlos. I want to talk about a specific case of how we apply what we know from what we call Libre Software. Other people talk about open source or free software on education. In this case, I'm going to be very specific. I will try to stick to my 10 minutes. So I'm going to talk about how to use blogs in education in a different way that is generally used. So just a few words for introduction. So several years ago, I had to introduce what a blog is. So now I expect that everybody knows what a blog is. So there are lots of lecturers using blogs for their subjects. So this is because it's simple, inexpensive. It's a way of getting the students involved in the matter of the subject. It's also a way of having informal information added to our lectures and to know what the interest of our students is. So, on the other hand, it has also some problems. We all know that working with blogs is very time-consuming because you expect students to write, and if you want to evaluate it, you have to read it. And you have to read all the contributions by students and their comments, and that takes a lot of time. So from our point of view, our group is more centered on Libre software, and we know lots of Libre software, more than e-learning. So we know that the Libre software community has been using blogs for very long. So probably the Libre software community is a very innovative place, and they were one of the first communities where the use of blogs was massive. So our question is, what can we learn from how they use blogs? And one of the things that these projects have, that open source projects are, is a planet. So a planet is just an aggregation of all the blogs into a single site. So as you see here in this page, you see there are two entries by two different people. The pictures there are called hacker gotchis. So these are the actual faces of the hackers. So you can go there. This is the planet for the GNOME desktop, and you can go to that URL and you can see all the entries unified as if it were one blog. So actually, it takes the feeds, the RSS from all the blogs, and it composes it as if it were one blog. And we thought that, oh, that's an interesting experience, because if you talk to professors, what they usually do is they have a list of blogs, and then you go there and you see the list of URLs where the students make their blogs. So there are lots of places where you can open a blog for free. So this solves that problem. So we've got a planet, a unified web page where you can have all of them. So actually, then we thought, okay, let's use these planets. Let's have some methodology. Let's see if we find any way in saving some time for the lecturer to make this activity. So I'll go into details in the next slide. So actually, the methodology used is very straightforward. So what we do is we ask students to create their own blog in any of the places where you can open a blog, like Blogger and so on. Then they have to add the blog to the planet, and they have to write a minimum number of entries during the subject, usually twice a month or something like that. The only restriction is that the topics of these entries, they have to be related to the subject. And then we thought, okay, the interesting thing is not only that they write, we want them also to read the other students' blog. And interestingly enough, we would like to evaluate not only what they write, we want to evaluate as well if they read other students' blogs. So what we did is, okay, you add the blog to the planet, and this is just by filling out this formula, which is now in Spanish, but actually you can see the required is the name, the email address, we will see later why, and the feed of the blog. And once you fill this out, you get into this planet. This is how an academic planet looks like. So it looks quite similar to what we've seen before. As you see on your left-hand side, you can see the participants list. Those are the students and the links to the blogs. And then you can see on the right-hand side, this is the latest entry of one blog, and then the second one over there. So what we did is we had this software, which is the one used by the free software community, and then we slightly modified it and added two links at the bottom of each entry. If you go there, I don't know if you can see the pointer. Yeah. If you look at the pointer, there's here this vótame and leer entrada completa. Vótame is vote for this entry. So we asked students to vote for the entries they liked most. And this is the way we know that they have read the entries. And they specify in a very Facebook-like, I like it way, that this is an entry that they like. So actually, if they press there for voting for that entry, they get to this form. And there we ask for the email address. This is to acknowledge that the voter is actually the one who's voting. So you enter your email address and you get an email acknowledging your vote that has been recorded. If you get an email and you didn't vote, that means somebody entered your email, and then you can go to the professor and ask him to remove that vote. So that's a way of assuring that the votes, that there is no cheating. So, okay, then we applied this to several subjects, and we saw that there were some problems, and then we thought some solutions that we might have. So, at first, we had lots of problems with the students creating a blog. This is now not the case. I'm talking about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. People were not that used to the Web 2.0 form of thinking. Now I think it's any student in the 20s is used to any Web 2.0 technology. But at first it was strange for them. Why should I open a blog and how does this work? So this was, even creating a blog was a problem. You had to very, very specific and telling people go to Blogger and do it that way. The second problem was to identify the feed of the blog. As you know, the Planet is a software, and it takes the RSS from the blog, and actually the URL that we wanted was the feed. So people had their problems creating a blog, and people had lots of problems identifying what the feed is and what the URL is. The next problem is cheating. So we are asking students to evaluate the blogs of other students, and there is always the possibility that they have friends among the other students and that they vote the other students who are more friendly to them. So, and a last point, very important for us, is that we have made these slight modifications to the software, but it was very difficult for us to give them away so that other people could use them. So the solution is we create a software which is FAFS, and you have got the URL there, which is an Ajax-based software, so you can just embed it into any website by putting one line. And this software includes all the aforementioned functionality. And actually, when you have to add your blog, you don't need the URL of the feed anymore, just the URL of the blog, which makes the problem of the identification of the feed any more a problem. So, and then we thought, we want to help professors to evaluate this. So this software includes some statistical data to analyze how the activity has been done. Of course, this is only quantitative. So you can see how many entries students have entered, how many votes they got for their blog, how many votes they have given to other blogs. If you want to look at quality, so the qualitative approach, then you have to read the blogs, or at least you have to go there and go in detail. But with this, you have some numerical information, and actually it's usually the blogs that have more votes from their peers are those blogs that are better. So that's a general rule in 99% of the cases. And the last point is we have included some functionality to identify cheating. So it does some social network analysis, and you can identify if two people are voting themselves all the time, or if you vote, if you don't read the entries because you vote too fast. So actually, if you have two votes from the same person in the same minute, yeah, you didn't have time to read all these entries. So this is also included in the software. Okay, so just to summarize, so I've been as short as I wanted. So this is a completely online and asynchronous activity. I think it fits very good with blended learning because you can propose students to write on something during your lectures, and then they can do it at home. The good thing is it can be used for evaluation, and we have used it on over a dozen subjects with success. So students are very happy that they have this freedom and that they see that other peers can evaluate their work. So there's this third point of the hetero evaluation, so that students give points and you take this into consideration. Usually we also give some points from the lecturers, but in general the rule is that you can identify good blogs by how the students vote. And last but not least, I think students accept this activity with high success, so they like it, and it makes your subject, I think, student friendly. So that's it. So thanks for your patience and attention.